Alrighty, I think we're streaming now. I think sound is working. So, welcome back to the Bug Box live stream. We're doing it on a Friday tonight instead of yesterday. I had my area covered with band DVDs. I was doing that, so I was like, I could have moved it all and got it up in time for the stream, but I was in such a good groove going with the DVDs. I wanted to get them finished up. So, we postponed it till tonight. I think I'm a minute or two late tonight. Getting things going here. Take me a little longer than normal. I think that's it. Sorry, I'm checking my other thing here and making sure it's working right. Alright, it's all open. So, it's large project night, since it's not Thursday, but it's still large project night. Friday, got all the discs done and actually delivered today, so dropped them off at the school around noon, finished up about 3 a.m. this morning. I was like, I just want to get them done and get back to the normal routine. So we're working on the jar covering tonight. I was actually getting a little bit of this done earlier. It was about 6:30. I decided to start. I already had most of my desk cleaned off here, work area, and still got stuff out, but we'll straighten it up. And then I decided to put in a few minutes on this, and I didn't get too much time. I was hoping to get about half an hour in before we actually started tonight. But yeah, it got a little weird there once I started working on this. But I'm going to go ahead and start working on it, and I'll tell you the story. I was sitting here kind of working on it, and I had the back door open today because it was pretty nice out and everything, so I just kind of had it open and let the cats run in and out. And, you know, doing so you always get some bugs and stuff, flies and whatnot that come through. And I've actually had a bird fly in the door twice actually. That was weird. But, you know, I was sitting over here working, had the door open, and I start hearing this buzzing around my ear, and so I kind of swat over at it while I'm working and not thinking much about it, because, you know, flies just kind of move in and out. And I swatted, and about 10 seconds later I hear it again, but, you know, normally you hear flies, they're like, as they kind of just fly by you, and you hear them. But this one was slightly different. After I did the swat, I wasn't thinking about it at that moment, but after I swatted, and it was about 10 seconds later, I hear it again, but it's not like veering away, it's just a constant buzzing noise there, you know. I'm like, so I kind of turned my head to the left a little bit, and here at eye level with me, about a foot away from me, is this big old giant bumblebee. I'm like, oh, okie dokie. He's just sitting there staring at me, I'm staring at him. It's like, it's like we were both thinking, what are we going to do now? What's up? So I kind of got up slowly from my chair and backed off, let him kind of do his thing. He started flying around my workbench here. He's landing on some pliers, looking around, and he slowly took off from that, went about 5 feet over to my TV area and was kind of walking around on some DVDs and cases and whatnot, and I was like, okay, what am I gonna do here? I don't want to kill him. You know, I kind of like bumblebees in a way. They're not like my favorite animal. I've never been stung by one, so maybe I'd hate him more if that had happened. But you know, he was just kind of doing his thing, and most time that's how they are. I've gotten pictures through the years of bumblebees. You know, big old bumblebees inside flowers. They fly around pretty slow, docile. They don't seem to go after you or anything like wasps and bees and other stuff like that. But so I was kind of just sitting there letting him do his thing, and he eventually made it over to the printer area, and I used some towels to cover my printers when I'm not using them and stuff. And I had, you know, with all the work I was doing with the DVDs, I had the printer cover off because I was you know, doing printing stuff and whatnot. So it was kind of folded up on top, and he'd gotten into it, and you just see this little towel kind of moving along, you know, just bubbling along as he's walking inside of it. And This was after about 10 minutes of waiting for him to kind of decide what he was going to do. And, yeah. So I'm like, okay, what am I going to do here? I don't want to go grabbing it and piss him off. You know, I don't know. I've never really pissed off a bumblebee. I don't know if it'll chase me or not. So I just kind of was like, okay, my cell phone was right there. So I texted my son. He was upstairs. And I was like, come down here. As I actually wanted to get a pair of, or my little pinchers. I don't know what they're called. They're like a little squeezer pickup tool, long extension. I was just going to grab the whole towel and take it outside real quick. But I didn't want to leave from watching where he was, so I would see him if he took off, which I'm sure I would have because he was loud and big. And so my son gets down here finally and gives me I call them the squeezers. We both watch Futurama, so, you know, there's a guy on there called Clamps. So he got me the squeezers, and I got ready to go over there and get it. And the bumblebee decided to pop on out of the towel, and I was like, oh, okay. So then he started flying again. I'm like, oh, great, here we go. So for the next 5 minutes, I'm kind of following him around. He's flying over by the 3D printer area and doing all that, and he's getting close to the back door again. I'm like, okay, just go on back outside, guy, you know, and then we're good. Then, like I said, I didn't want to kill him. And so he gets close to the door. He's about ready to go out. I thought he was going to make it, and then he darted to the left and missed going out the door and kind of got caught in the draft of the fan and started flying around more back over towards my computer area. And I was like, oh man, I can't be doing this. I'm trying to get ready for the stream. I'm trying to spend a little time doing some stuff. And so I'm like, okay, I'm not going to be able to keep doing this. So I hate to do it, but I'm going to have to grab the electric fly swatter and see. And I'm like, well, I don't know if this will actually work or not, because the electric fly swatter works on normal size flies. But I've had some big old horse flies on occasion come in, and that thing really just stuns them. And I was like, man, am I just going to piss him off more if I try to take care of him with this? What should I do? And he was starting to get a little more irritated. He was flying a little more erratically and a little more faster pace. And I was like, man, he's just going to get mad. I'm going to get mad. So I was like, all right, screw it. I'm just going to give him a swat with the electric swatter. And so I made a few swats and missed, and then I could tell he was getting a little more pissed off. He was flying a little faster, a little quicker. And I was like, ugh. And so I made a good swat at him and actually got him that time, and he went flying across the room about 7-8 feet, hit the wall, and fell down on the table of the printer. And so I kind of went over there and was looking and seeing what was up. He's upside down twitching, so I'm like, well, I don't know if he's completely dead or not. So I grabbed a piece of mail I had sitting on the desk and was like, well, I'm just going to go ahead and see if I can scoop him up and take him outside. Maybe, you know, like I said, the horseflies, they get stunned for a little bit, but then get back up. So it's like, maybe that's what he'll do. So I put the mail down there, and he actually grabbed onto the piece of mail. I was like, okay, well. I started pulling it out. I kind of had my hand through the printer to the back to get down to him, and started bringing him out, and he just hanging on to it, and got him outside and walked him over to the shed, and I was going to try to knock him off on the trash can over there, and didn't know how he would react, but, you know, I went over there and I gave it a quick tap on the trash can, and he started to fall off of it, you know, within, you know, half a second, you know, all this happened. Instead of, you know, falling onto the trash can lid, he starts flying again and coming right at me. I'm like, ah! So here I am, you know, about 7-8 feet away from the back door. Big old giant bumblebee sitting there chasing me. I'm sure this would have been funny from somebody else's point of view, which the son kind of seen me, but he was looking at everything else going on too. Because I was freaking out the cats. I started high-stepping and running like I was trying to dodge alligators or something. I don't know why I was high-stepping and running all weird, trying to get away from the damn bumblebee. But I run inside and slam the door shut, and He said the cats are out there freaking out, wondering what I was doing, you know. But I was like, I don't want to get stung by it. I didn't want to hurt you, but I didn't want you inside to give me a sting at some point. So that was the interesting highlight of today before the stream, shortly before the stream. Left the door shut for a few minutes, seen the cats. They were still staring at the door like, what is wrong with him? What's going on? Why is he running? Why is he... I wasn't screaming, but... why is he being all weird? Yeah, I gave him a few minutes and then opened back up the door and kind of went out there to see if he was still around. And he went on his way, so... hope Mr. Bumblebee has a good old day. Like I said, I didn't really want to kill him or anything, but I didn't want him in here causing problems, so it's like I give you a few minutes to try to deal with you. If you would have landed where I could have put it like a cup over him or something, I would have, but kept landing in places that there was no way I was going to be able to get any kind of something over him to try to get him back outside. But didn't kill him, and he's back outside, so that's all good. Yeah, I guess I probably need to get a screen door for down here with a cat hole or something, because I leave my door open often when it's nice out, you know, just to let nice fresh air in with the cats running in and out, because they're mostly outdoor cats. They were kind of outdoor cats that we kind of taken in through the years. You know. So I tried to make them indoor, but yeah, that just didn't work. He would sit there and howl and howl and howl, and tried for a long time, and it just wasn't going to work. Buzz, the older one, the first one we took in, he has become more of an indoor-ish cat than Boomer. But, you know, they still want to have their outside time, so I try to give it to them. They don't run too far anymore, so it's worked out better. But yeah, I probably need to add something to the doorway to keep out those things, because like I said, I've had a few birds flying on me before, out of the blue. I've actually had a couple birds that the cats brought in and let go and still alive, so they take off flying. And let's see where we're at here. Get a nice pull down. Coming across it pretty good. Probably one more row and then we'll start coming back in. And then I'll work on getting my tightness down and working on the sides to start pulling it tighter on its own than me holding it. But it's looking like we're going to be right around that edge, so... Again, this is the first odd-shaped jar. Normally I've done a lot of round ones, bottles and vases and stuff that are all round that are much easier to deal with than a weird, I wouldn't say weird, just different than what I've done before. So take me a little more time to decide exactly how I wanted to do everything on this one. But I wanted to give it a quick check. But yeah, they bring in all kinds of animals through the years, so I probably need to put something down there. Even though if they catch them, they'd still come through the cat door with it. It'd be actually harder to chase them back out with the cat door there, I guess. But yeah, we've had rabbits live. These are all the live things they brung in. It's rabbits and snakes. There was about 3-year period there. We must have had a snake den in the back between the fence line for the people behind us. They have a shed right back there in the back corner, and we've got a compost place back there, and he would just come out there, about a month period every year for those 3 years. He'd come with a snake every day, if not a couple snakes a day. Well, gardener snakes, no big deal, but the first one he brung in scared the crap out of me. I jumped up on my chair like I screamed like a little girl, hollering, I need help. But yeah, we've had snakes, squirrels, rabbits, moles, mice, birds. Trying to think of well, Boomer, when he was younger, he was super thrilled with this giant moth he caught. He come in with this moth and thought it was the best thing in the world, but it's sitting there flapping him in the face, and just all kinds of things they bring in live. Now, sometimes they end up killing them, but most times they'll come in with a lot of live stuff and able to get them to drop it, and then that's the next issue is if they drop it inside, then I have to chase it around, whatever it is. End up catching everything. Sometimes it's taking a couple hours because I had to move stuff out of the way, and the little baby squirrel he brung in that one time. That one he got behind my big old entertainment center, and at the time I had two big giant DVD stands that I had personally made. They were wood and they were about 3 foot wide and 6 foot tall almost. Big giant thing covered in DVDs, and he got back behind that, and I could not get him out. And had to pull all the DVDs off, set up little boxes on his escape routes, and he was probably the hardest to get. Well, and we did have a, oh yeah, they didn't bring him in, but I did have a baby possum in here. With the door open one year, I guess this was probably 3-ish years ago now. Had the back door open, I was just doing my normal thing and not really paying attention. And, actually didn't even notice when he came in. I heard something chomping on some cat food over there by where we keep the cat food, and, I just thought it was cat, no big deal. It wasn't until about 2 hours later that I realized that there was no cat that would have been eating at that point in time. We only had the two that were running in and out. One was upstairs, and the other one I know was over in the shed next door. And I knew that. And so I was like, I started hearing the chomping again. Like I said, about 3 hours later, and I look over there, and I make eye contact with this little baby possum eating cat food, and I'm like, oh crap, what am I going to do? And at that time, on this room, attached to it is our little storage area room, and I actually had that door open. I used to leave it open for the cats because they used to like to go in there and kind of crawl around and find places to sleep, but I've closed that off since. But had that door open, and so he scurried off in there, and I was like, how in the world am I going to get this thing out of here? And I think that's where he was kind of hanging out between his food eatings. And it actually took me 3 days to finally get him out of there. I wasn't going to go, possums can get kind of scary looking. I've heard that they can get pretty mean, and I mean, he was just doing his hissing thing, and he was a little baby one. I've seen several bigger ones outside that come across. We've always had possums and raccoons walking through the yard. I mean, we live in the city, but we're fairly close to open areas, so I'm guessing they just kind of, the raccoons though, I think they liked it just because there's so many people with trash cans. I finally got me a raccoon proof trash can, and hadn't seen him come around for a while. It's been a good year since the last time I seen him. He'd still walk through the yard even though he couldn't get into the trash cans. He'd still try, but eventually I kind of set up one night. I was like, so I ended up closing the door, trying to get him out, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I was going to have to call somebody. I was like, I'm going to call somebody over this. So I finally set it up one day. I put some cat food out as bait, kind of, and set up a little thing where I could close the door with a string, had it across the room, and I literally sat in my chair for 2 hours waiting for him to pop his little head out. He finally popped his head out, and I put in a few treats of food going up to the food bowl that I had about 4 foot away from the door, so I wanted to get out from there far enough. And so he finally come out, started chomping little foods, and got to the food bowl, and I pulled that door shut so he couldn't get back over there. And then he just stared at me like, okay. And I stared at him, and I was like, okay. And down here we got one of the poles, that house support poles in the basement. And I can walk around to the other side of it, and I had the food bowl kind of right there, even with it between the back door and the storage room door. And so I walked around the pole there, and I had some 12 packs of Pepsi and Sprite sitting there that I grabbed, and I started making walls with it and slowly creeping on him to try to make him run out the back door. And so I just kind of started doing that and slowly walking him backwards as he's sitting there hissing at me, showing me all his little teeth, his little baby possum teeth, and finally got him out the back door and off he ran. But he got to camp out here for, it was about 3 days, I guess, about 2.5 days before I finally got him out. And then went over there and cleaned up everything, and I couldn't find anything of a mess. I couldn't find no smell of any kind. I don't know if urine smells from a possum, what it would smell like, but no odd smells. I didn't find no poop from it. Didn't seem digging into anything, and kind of pulled everything out of there and cleaned up, and couldn't find anything, so put everything back. But yeah, that was an interesting few days dealing with that possum. I would have never expected to have a possum living in my house, but you know, things happen. I guess like I said, I bring on myself since I leave the door open all the time for him. Well, and I did forget to say hey and welcome to anybody that might be here now. Kind of forgot to do that when I first started. I was looking at my time, we're about 20 minutes in, and I was like, I just started mailing and talking. Yeah, we've had, I don't know, probably a dozen rabbits. Only the one live squirrel. There's a couple times, I don't think the cats did it. I think the cats just scavenged the squirrel from the neighbor dogs once they were no longer around, because the neighbors' dogs around here really like squirrels. They go cuckoo for squirrels. Let's see here. So yeah, that's about as far as I'd want to go on that. Next row I'll have to start coming in. It's got a pretty good stretch on it, so we'll start working in and coming back together. Yeah, the old girl cat, she's our molar. She loves hunting moles, but she can go out there and wait for hours hunting moles. Not the big ones. She ends up getting the baby ones, baby to teenager size ones. And again, most times she brings them in live. Had a few of those running around for a day. I had to end up catching. I got some traps and stuff. I mean, they can't really see, but I put them in the areas that they would run, at least where I thought they would run, and that's where they ended up running, because I ended up catching them in it. Yeah, I couldn't catch them at night, and they would disappear into things that I just could not get into. There's a little hole over by my sink down here. They could get into the back and under it, and there was no way of getting them, or under the refrigerator. And it was like they would go under the refrigerator, but it had like a bottom in the refrigerator, so they could just get up in there. So if I moved it, they just went for a ride. So I set up traps around that. Next morning, get up, they'd come out and got in the trap, so I took them back outside. Most of the time, you know, I don't like killing animals at all, but they catch them, bring them in if you know, I can. The rabbits I normally let go outside, keep the cats in. They seem to go on their way, not have any issues. The moles, though, we've had a mole problem in our yard for years. It drives me nuts. I got a few of the big mole traps to get them outside. I've caught a few, but man, there was, I don't know, it was probably about 7-8 years ago. This whole area was inundated with moles. It's gone down since then, but with all the dogs in all the other yards around us, all the moles come to our yard because we don't have dogs that are going to dig after them. But we do have the cat now. She doesn't dig for them, though, but she just waits for them and watches the ground bulging, and once they pop out enough, she'll pounce them and bring them in to me. But all those and the snakes and stuff, I'd end up putting them up in a bucket and then driving them up the street and over into the open field area up over here that we have. I mean, once you get up past this main drive on the other side of that street there, I mean, there's just miles of nothingness for the most part. So I end up taking them up over that way and dropping them off, because I don't want to put them back out in the yard for the cats to get again. But I also don't want to kill them either. Other than the moles, I won't kill them personally. But the mole things that I have that ends up killing them. But I hate doing that too. But I don't know how else to get the stupid things to stop tearing up the lawn. I mean, it's been a lot less since I've done that, and now with the cat, she kind of helps with the younger population. We've gotten a lot less, but there's still probably 2 families of moles that we have in the yard. That one up front, and then the set that's in the backyard. We don't have a huge property. I mean, I think we're on about 1/3 of an acre or so. It's not huge, but it's decent sized. So they have room to kind of roamish, and I think they start kind of not having as much paths every year. You can kind of see they kind of start dwindling down, but they haven't fully gone away yet. I would have no problems with them. They wouldn't freaking tear up the yard and get tunnels, and then, you know, you get a good rain and it rains those tunnels out, and then it becomes little trenches that the water just naturally starts flowing through and stuff. It's like, come on, guys. I'm fine with you if you just leave my stuff alone. Leave it all alone. So, again, anyway, thanks for anybody that's joining us or watching us later. Working on a jar covering again tonight, large project night. I still have not figured out how I can now share. You used to be able to pick from your business persona or whatever you want to call it, or your personal person, and now I can't seem to switch that. I still see the share, but whenever I click it, it wants to just share as the Booga box, not to my personal page, which kind of sucks, because that's where I wanted to share it. I'm not sure. I tried to actually do a personal live stream yesterday when I was doing DVDs, and it all worked, and it looked normal. I was like, well, why does it work normal here but not there? And I come into this again tonight, it's still the same way, where I can't quite figure it out, and I'm like, I guess I'll just have to try some test ones on the business page here, and see if I can figure out how I can share my own stuff again to my personal pages. I'm not sure why they have to keep changing things up, but, you know, it's Facebook for you. Alright, so I might have to come into just a single one on this side, I guess. But hopefully things will start smoothing back out. Got all those since the DVDs are done, and get back to a more normal schedule with my streaming. And project-wise, we probably have one more week of this, and I'll still work on it, and when I finish it up, I'll show it on large project night. But I've got my stuff coming for doing my next inlay that I've been wanting to do. So some of you kind of heard the talk about what I wanted to do. I don't know if I'm going to show the picture. I think I'm just going to start working on it. And then maybe eventually somebody will catch on and get the idea of what it is, and then we'll start showing it. But at first, I'm kind of going to leave it a partial secret, per se, till we get further along into it. See how that goes. But, I mean, it could be next Friday or next Thursday we actually start on it, but it just kind of depends on when I get the supplies in. Either way, it should be 2 weeks at the most. And then we'll be getting into it. This isn't a super large project, it's just taking more time because I haven't really worked on it outside of streaming. My streaming times, anyway. I haven't really done a whole lot the past couple weeks outside of streaming just because I've been busy doing those band DVDs, but they're done, so we're good to go. Get some stuff going, start getting ready for some for some events. Looking forward to getting back to doing some events. They're always a little nerve-wracking, but I enjoy doing them. A few of them, you know, they're a couple nighters, so well, one of them's at a campground too, so I can actually camp out there for that. I enjoy that one just because I can hang out and do some camping, which I don't get to do much anymore of. Let's see here. We're going to start coming back in, so yeah, that's what we need to do here. That one will be a single. Yeah, we're going to go that way, so. But like I said, if I get started on the other large project that I'd rather be doing for large project night, I will still pull this one out and show with any progress I make on it, because it's not going to take too long. I mean, my Monday night would be already kind of done, but I'm kind of doing some extras with the jelly cubes. So, just so y'all know, Monday nights I normally do a medium project night. Right now I'm kind of doing some jelly cubes and working one that I'm just going to make bigger and bigger. I figured it'd be a good one. You know, I figured medium project night, something that might take, you know, 3-4 weeks to complete. Wednesday nights are our small project night, and I've been making it with doing bracelets of weaves that I haven't done yet. I mean, I've done a ton of different weaves, but there's a lot of them out there that I still haven't done. Some aren't all that great looking to me, but that doesn't mean others won't like it. So I've just been trying to go through, and I've got all kinds of pictures of weaves through the years that I've saved that I haven't done, and I was like, I'm just going to start pulling out one and looking at a picture and figure out how to make it, and we'll do a stream on it one night. As long as it's not a paid tutorial one, it's kind of more of a out there in the nether world of chainmail. That, I mean, people still make paid tutorials for those, but they're open sourced weaves, if you per se, you know. Whoever designed it, it's been around so long, or they just put it out there and gave everybody the ring sizes and how to build it and whatnot. I can normally figure out ring sizes on my own. Sometimes a little trial and error to figure out, but that's what we do on Wednesday nights, and Thursday will be the large project night. Once I get being able to start doing the inlays, it'll be taking up a lot more time, because they can take a while, and I probably won't get through them as fast as like I did this last cheese flag, because that was a paid order, so it was very much anytime I got a chance it was being worked on. This other one's going to be more of a personal thing. I mean, I could end up selling it at some point, but something I wanted to do and planned on, so I'll just work on it. I'm sure I'll work on it at off times too. When I'm not doing the stream, just cause I love doing inlays. They can take a while, and definitely harder to sell because there's so much time involved into them, but it's just fun to me. But I mean, I'll stop working on it and if I got bigger order or something like that to do. And that happens from time to time, where I'll get a bunch of orders sometime where I have to kind of put off some things. Hopefully it doesn't happen a ton, but it could happen during some of these streaming nights where I might have to put off, or we switch away from doing the project planned because I've got an order that I need to fulfill. So most time though, I have had some orders even during the stream weeks, but I'm able to get them done at the off times when I'm not streaming. So like when I first was getting into the Chiefs flag inlay, I had 11 earring sets I had to get made up, and took care of most of them, showed them in I think the first or second stream while I wasn't streaming, because I was just more worried about getting the Chiefs flag inlay done. Grabbing a drink real quick. So this one will be a single too. At least we hope. We'll put it back on the jar here in a moment and get a gander at it and see what it looks like, if I need to adjust it any. It's kind of what I like about doing these. Sometimes they'll work out your first try of doing it, and other times it might take a few trials to get it going. Let's see here. If I'm doing that one, this one will have to have 3 coming through, so we'll do 2 and then a third. I think that's what I need to do. I guess we'll find out when we put it on, and if it doesn't look right, we'll adjust. I had to do that earlier. I had up at the top when I was doing it. I needed to come back and pull out a ring just because I didn't like the look of it. It wasn't sitting the way I wanted it to, so 1, 2, 3. Well, that is also what takes time on some of these projects when you do a lot of readjusting, and if you don't like something, you've got to tweak it, or if you're working on something you've never worked on, or you're just trying to do something totally different that there's just like no tutorials or anything like that. Like I said, I don't normally use tutorials. I'll end up buying them after I figured out the piece and see if I was close or not, just because I have more fun that way, and I actually think I learn more that way. That's helped me with several of my weaves by just playing around and looking at a picture, trying to figure out how to do it. For the life of me, for years, I had a hard time. I could not get left and right leaning Persian down. There was one thing I was wanting to do forever that called for the leaning of your Persian to go left, and I always done mine right. With my bracelets, they're always right leaning Persian, half Persian, and could not get for the life of me to get it down where I could left lean them. And it wasn't until I was actually working on, what was I was working on a dragon. I already done a couple dragons, and then I bought the tutorial and had it, and I was looking at the tutorial a little closer, and I realized, well, that's right there. If that ring, this one ring down the center wasn't there, I actually have a left leaning and right leaning piece. And I was like, okie dokie. It finally it clicked on me, and ever since I've been able to do right or left leaning half Persian. But that was one of the things for years that just gave me problems. I could not get left leaning Persian down, and until it was playing with something else that it dawned on me, because that's how really a lot of weaves are. They're just kind of a basic weave, but tweaked here, tweaked there, and like I've said before, there's a lot of weaves when I was just playing around that I didn't realize were actual weaves out there. It was just something I was working on, a normal kind of weave, and I decided to just start messing with it and playing off of it, and then come to realize, hey, this is kind of cool. And then when you get done, you feel kind of good, but then I start looking around because I want to make sure nobody else has gotten that, and I've gotten more in the habit of that anymore. Before I start posting, hey, I made a new weave, I need to make sure that it hasn't been done before. And then I'm all saddened afterwards because it's like, oh man, that was so cool. Thought I'd come up with something new, but no, it's out there. But so many people do this that, there are still new weaves here that get popped out on occasion that people have come up with. I'm just sure it's not as fast and furious it was, 15 years ago when, more off of what I would consider the basics of weaving came from. What did I do there? That one flipped the wrong way. Okay, there we go. It's just that one doesn't want to come down. There it is. It was just hiding from me. Well, yeah, I want to check it out on the jar real quick, see if we're going to come in. I imagine if we come in the same rate that we went out, we should be fine. Get more in the picture here. Then I just need to count how many I went down so I know when I need to be connecting back in the center there. And it's just always easier to go upside down. It seems to pop off quicker. I still need to clean that jar, but I figure I'd wait till I'm getting closer to dinner done, so I'm going to mess it up by grabbing it and playing with it all the time anyway. So we came down for the fulls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 was our middle. So 6 would be the thing, so. Alright. Not too much longer and we'll be closed up here. Oh, my little thing slid down. Hope I'm not missing any chat there. Oh, come on, mouse. I really hate this mouse. I either need to hook up a longer corded mouse or get a different wireless mouse, because this thing is so weird. The other wireless mouse I have, no problem. But this one, it doesn't like to wake up very much, and for some reason, well, it's not even working now. I gotta turn it upside down to get it to activate, but now I can't even get that to work. Well, I guess I won't be able to check that. Come on, mouse. What is your deal? Well, batteries, it's on. It's connected. Oh, and there it goes. After I stare at it for a minute. Alright. Oops. I just wanted to kind of move that around. It got situated where I couldn't see my texting or comments if they popped up on the Twitch and YouTube. So if you made anything there, sorry if I missed them. I don't think I would see anything, but you're back up so I can see them and see my times. Technology drives me nuts sometimes. But I will also say, when I start doing the larger project night with the inlay, I'll probably be going with just one camera angle and view, because I want to video record it and try to make a time lapse of the whole build. Every time I try to do it before, I keep forgetting to turn on cameras sometimes. So then all of a sudden there's 3 or 4 hours missing, and it just doesn't look right. It's too clumsy to me. And so I'm hoping I can get a good version of a time lapse of it on this one. What did I do here? Nothing. Just my brain. I guess that's part of the larger rings. And keeps flipping back and forth between so many different size rings anymore here lately. It's been a little weird. I got so used to just using the one size with doing the Chiefs inlay. Now that I keep going to smaller rings for the jelly cubes, you know, those 1/8 inchers. And then coming back to this with 5/16 inchers. And then the bracelets, I've been in between those two extremes. I've still got a lot of those out because I've been working on bracelets to add, because I make them one during the stream, but I end up doing several outside of the stream in the same style, just different color, just so I can have a variety. I didn't want to get up in through there. But now that I'm done with the DVDs, I'm hoping I can take care of that. I don't know how much I'll get done this weekend on much, because I do want to rest my brain. After doing all those videos, my brain just melted there for a while. Just been busy the last 2.5, 3 months of either chainmail or... and I've been putting in, you have your own business, you're never really off, you're always working. If I get orders on a weekend, I'll still work on them, but very seldom do I just say, I'm done for the weekend. But I think this weekend's going to be one of those. And if I get an order, I'll probably still working on it, and I almost guarantee you I'll probably still get a couple hours in a chainmail through the weekend. I say I'm not going to, but then I'll just be sitting there watching a movie or something. When I do watch movies, and I'll just be like, oh, let me go over here and give me half an hour. That turns into an hour. That turns into 2 hours. I thought I wasn't going to do anything this weekend. Well, I got the lawn mowed. I still need lawn work to do, but normally I do like to veg a little bit after doing the DVDs because I just get so brain melted after that that it takes me a few days to recoup the brain back to normal processing, because even though I am done with them, I've actually delivered the DVDs to the school, I'm still thinking of, well, I could improve this video, this event better if I would have done this or that. I've actually pulled out video that I took 12 years ago, and I'm still playing with this thing. I mean, nobody's going to want it or anything, but I'm like, I know I can make it better. I know I can do better. And that's how most things are. It's like, I know I can make it better. I know I can do better. I want to make it better. I've actually got a graphic for the band that I was making up for the old director. I'd worked on it for about a year before she retired, and I did end up sending it to her at the point that I was okay with it. But I'm like, I know I can still do better. And I still pull out that graphic and play with it on occasion. I'll spend 2 or 3 hours playing with it. And actually, the last time I opened it, I realized they have new uniforms now. So I need to remake this graphic. So that's what I've actually been doing with that graphic the past year-ish, year and a half, because they just got new uniforms 2 years ago. Now, it's basically just marching members spelling out pride. And it was the old style. We used to have those on our jackets back in our day. And they looked more like the pants and jackets and hats we wore at the time. And now they're just different. And that's what I was doing with it at first. Somebody had done one, but I don't know. It looked a little weird to me, so I was wanting to redo it when I started helping them back out. And then she ended up leaving. And she'd been there for 28 years, so I missed having her in band and working with her later on. I mean, she was a great band teacher. And honestly, I've met a lot of band directors through all my years of helping and kids being in school. And I'm always at events, and I'll go up and comment to other directors if I've watched their show or concert, and I'm like, that was good and stuff. I like to let them know that kind of thing. And so I've met a lot, and there are very few I've, almost all of them I've gotten along with through the years. It's been kind of awesome that way. I think that I can only literally say out of probably more than 30, 40 directors that I've dealt with on more than just one occasion. I mean, there's a lot of others that I've only met once or twice, but a lot of the others I've met quite often. There's only been 2 that just, we could not get along. It's very strange. I could not quite understand it. But, I tried to, one of them I did end up dealing with for several years and just dealt with them. We didn't get along at all, that's for sure, but he let me do my thing, so it was all good. But most directors, I've always had a good rapport with most band directors, so. And now we have new ones at Tonkin. I do like them. They're good to deal with. Alright, so I'm going to come in one more. We'll do the 3 and then come in 2. Yeah. Just trying to keep it even so it looks even when we're done. Hopefully I'm still in view. I keep slowly sliding out. I did put the camera a little wider though, so that I didn't have to be so right up in there, but I don't want to get too far away either. Eventually, now that things have calmed down, I might try to reset up these cameras in a different position and try to get a different angle on them. We'll see how that goes. It'll just take time away from doing other stuff, which I normally do hate, but you can never really get anything better if you don't give it a try, right? I'm just checking everything again. Okay. All my boxes are open so I can see comments, I hope. This has definitely been a little different of a jar cover. Normally, I'd probably be further along on a normal round type jar or like wine bottle or something, because I've done several and know basically how I'd want to do it, even if I change ring sizes. But this one's been a little different because of the bottle size, or just shape of the bottle. Taking a little more time to, so hopefully I don't have to go back and do too many fixins later on. That's been one reason why I'm going a little slower on it. And then two, just not spending the time on it outside of the stream that I would like to. And this, if I do any work this weekend, it will probably be on this, because I got the jelly cubes about where I'd want to be for my next medium project night, so I really wouldn't want to work on any of that, so I can show it off Monday. Because I did get some done early after last week's stream. But it was last week's stream when it was Monday. Tuesday was the concert, and that's when it started really hitting. And I was putting in about 3 or 4 hours of DVD work a couple weeks before that, but I was nowhere near where I should have been. And then once the concert hit, it was like, oh, yeah, I'm way behind here. So I did have to take some time away from the chainmailing to get that done, but that is my normal yearly thing that I do, so normally used to it, other than I normally spend most of March getting everything done and all that, so when it comes to April and May, I just got little tidbits to clean up and finalize, and then a day or two of burning and printing and stuffing and all that. But yeah, I was way out of range this year, and it's taken me quite a bit to get caught back up. Alright, that's all of those, so just, let's see, that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. This one will be the next one, then the 6th one will be one all the way across again, and then we can check it out and see how she puts the bottle. Once I get that done, I'll probably put on another one more row, and then I'll start working on tweaking my sides to fit around the curve of the corners and start pulling it around tighter, because it's got a bit of a taper when it comes down too, so I'll be putting some contraptions in it to pull it around tighter, just to try to keep my rows even across, because when it just wants to hang there, it wants to kind of, instead of being a straight row across, it kind of wants to kind of come down at an angle. But hopefully that'll get fixed once we get a little further into it. At least it should. I guess we'll find out. Let's see here. This is a tour. I guess I should open the ring first, dummy. A little easier that way, unless I'm a magician. Yeah, magician, not a musician. If I'm a magician, I could easily put rings together that are closed. It'd be nice if I could just go ka-ching, ka-ching, like a magician does. That'd be nice. I think every chainmailer would probably enjoy that. Touch them and they're together. Just the way you want. But in all reality, it was just the third long project night, third week that we've been doing it. We didn't have anything started on the first week, I believe, so I do wish it was long further than it is. I will admit that, but I also did change up how I want to do it. I really wanted to do dragon scale on it, but whenever I did my test piece of dragon scale and put it up on there, just couldn't see into the bottle any, and I want to see the bottle. I mean, it's glass and see-through, so I wanted to be able to see some of the center. And I was like, well, there are a couple of things I could do, and I was like, well, maybe just European 6-in-1 is the best way to go. Sometimes, you know, the simpler can look the best. I think it would have still looked good with a dragon scale weave across it. It's just you wouldn't have seen the bottle for the most part, other than the label that I would have it, if you want to call it a cutout, an opened area in chainmail so you could see it. But it was like, I want to be able to see the jar. I want to see the bottle itself, so we'll just go this route and hope for the best. I wasn't sure if I was still going to change it up after that first week. Yeah. But now I'm to the point, it's just like, well, we're just going to continue this way. I'm still thinking about edging it a little bit, and I might put something on the shoulders. I've had a few thoughts on my shoulder edges here that I could do. And I've thought about coming down with scales on the side, just doing like a linear scale, single scale coming down the side, and then to bring the two together. I might give that a try. I keep thinking about it, and it's like, do I really want to do that? Don't know if it'll work or not. And it's still something that's in my head that I might still try. We're just going to have to wait and see once till we get there. What did I do? Right there. Oh, that one's not going through two. That one, yeah. That one should be standing up and going through two, not just a single. I think, right? Well, no, if a single would be hanging off the top. All the top ones were doubled, so yeah. That one's going to come apart. And go through two. I do believe that is the problem there. It was my lower one, so it'd go through these two. Yeah. Right? No, that still gives me two through that one, though. Because... oh, I was going through three, not two. Okay, that was the problem. Alright, maybe that'll make it that area look a little bit better than what it should have been. Oh, back up under there. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it was just hanging out so far. I was like, why does that look so weird right there? Not like everything, though. Something I've done before. Normally don't have those kind of issues, but when it's something... I mean, I've done this weed before, obviously, but... different, putting a shape into it, taking out parts of the middle. You got to remember, because you're leaning one way, going one direction, and the other going the other, you have to kind of compensate for it when you want to start pulling stuff out of it, so it looks all right. You're supposed to be up there. I don't know how I'm gonna. I guess I could. No, I've already got three. I'll have to look at that when I put it on the jar and see if there's something I need to adjust there. I think once it is on the jar, it's not going to be a big deal. I hope. I guess we will. No, I don't want to put my contraction in this part though. Sorry, brain's going through about 400 processes every time. I think of how do I want this to go? How do I want this to look? It keeps wanting to flop down on me, but not bad. Just a weird set. And then, so this one should have one more though. Because it's even there. Yeah, I should have one more on that one. I believe so anyway. Again, I guess we'll find out more once we get it put back on the jar. We'll kind of look at that area and see if I need to expand it. I still might have to adjust it once I do get the side pieces on and pulled tight, depending on how tight I want it to be. That might change up part of that. So, and then that puts that there. No, see, it looks like I'm coming in too quickly, though. Come on, ring, stay where you're... but not really. Because this is where, these are the rows that will attach. Yeah. Yeah, I think those two gotta go. I think that's the problem. I added those in, but I think they just need to go. Where's my pencil here? Let's do a quick count. 24, 9, So I got 5 more to enter. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go ahead and pull these 2 on out. I'll let them back in if I have to. If it's not looking right, but it's not looking right laying flat right now like that. Being that I've got to add 5 more in. Where you at starting? There we are. When it's all loose and hanging down, it's hard to tell. You got to go down. Coming across. If I go one single, I got to make sure I put a double below it. But I think that's what I got to do here. That's what I did there as a single. So yeah, I'll go ahead and put that in, and then we'll put one in to hold it in place so I don't get it confused and make sure it doesn't flip up on me and think it's going through the next row above. We'll go ahead and put in a 3 ringer and come in and put the 2 before it later, because that'll hold it from flipping up on me for now, so that we can continue to work down. Get some more rings here. Oh, let me grab a drink too. Where we at? Well, we're about an hour in, so I swear, boy, these live streams, other than Monday night, these live streams just fly by. So I'll just say again, if you're joining us, watching now live or watching later, thanks for dropping in, checking us out. Give us some likes and shares and whatever else that you feel comfortable doing. They all help get us, you know, the more of those that we get, the more we'll kind of be up in the system, the algorithms that find you. Somewhere there's a setting too where you can get notifications whenever we go live. Make sure you click on that. And find us either on the Twitch or the YouTube. Add us into those too. You can get messages that way by, you know, getting the notifications from those so that you know when we're live. If you've been with us, you know it's Monday, Wednesday, Thursdays right now is what we're planning. Other than tonight because of last night, but that'll go back to normal next week. But I do thank everybody for joining me. It's been fun. I mean, there has not really been a ton of people, but I'm glad to have anybody show up and join us and, you know, watch what we're doing, even if you don't comment. Just want to watch some chain mailing be done. I do that with other mailers. I'm a mailer, so I like to watch the mailing being done. Some might not enjoy it. Might be a little boring to them. Others might just come in and join just to chat. I do that with Sean's and Josh's streams. I just like to kind of join in and chat with them all while they're doing their thing. And I mean, most things I've done before that they're doing too, but it's good just kind of hang out and listen to them while you're doing your thing. So it's all good. If you have any thoughts or ideas or whatnot too, just drop a line. I'm willing to try almost anything. If you got something interesting you'd like me to work on or see or color combination, just let me know. I'm open. I mean, again, right now I'll be working on trying to think what am I going to do next Wednesday for my small project. I'll think about it all week, and I normally don't make my decisions till Wednesday. When I'm going, what am I going to do tonight? Oh yeah, I got to pick something. So I start looking through pictures going, this one, this one, this one, this one. I'll probably end up doing that again Wednesday this week. This next week going, I still don't know what I want to do. I am trying to pick out things that I haven't done, but if somebody's got a request, they want to see something done, as long as it's not a paid tutorial, I'll be happy to do it. If you're having problems with a weave that I'm good with and stuff, I'll be happy to show you any kind of technique I use to keep things straight in my head. I know one night I might try to do the full Persian, starting of a full Persian for everybody. It's going to be hard to video though. That's going to be the issue with it, just because of the way I hold everything. It's hard to see the inside of what I'm doing, but you know, I used to have an issue with that, and I've tried everybody else's way that I could possibly see, and this might be somebody might have done it this way before too, on how to start it. I just haven't seen it myself. I just found it the easiest way to start full Persian for myself. Part of it is just because I made so much full Persian through the years that, you know, I just kind of gotten used to it. It's what I used to do actually on my Chanians for the, well, I still do that. I guess it's the half Persian that I was doing on the top, like the headband area, to hold on the goggles, per se. I was doing those in a half Persian weave, and I've gone more to a 2 and 2 chain just because it's quicker. Because doing a half Persian weave on that all the way around was taking a lot longer than I would really like. And so I didn't want to raise the prices up too much, so I tried to think of a way that I could try to still give it the same look, but make it a little quicker so I wouldn't have to charge more for it. And so that's what I went with, was 2 and 2 chain. Still looks good. Gets the job done. Just checking for comments real quick again. I almost hate those nights where I don't get too many comments, because then I get used to not looking at the comments, and then when I start getting comments, I forget to look. I almost need like a smaller something right in front of me, or like I said at one time, I need like Google Glasses that'll pop up in right here. Or if it just ding at me or something, just a little beep or a dong or something, saying new message. That's all I really need, just something so it'll make me look over. But it doesn't seem to do that with live streaming, which is kind of a bummer. Alright, so those would be those 2 rows. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one should be the one that comes back together. So I should be able... there's the one there. We skipped it. And that would be the skippy ring there. But see, that's only going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 1, 2, 20. That's not going to take me back up to 25. Yeah, let's look at it on the jar real quick. See what it looks like that way. Sometimes that'll help me decide. Oh, I got bunched up back there. Gotta try to hold this a little differently to get the good stretch in here. But then I'm going to have to pull it back together there. But yeah, it's probably... This is probably that row then. I'll just have to... It's 3 to that one and 2 on that side. So if I go opposite... I'm bringing a little bit more, but... Yeah, until I get that side stretch, I'm not going to exactly know. Let's see how much of a stretch we got going there. Then I need to add a few more rows if I was going to do the scale down the side, so it's a little closer together, depending on what size scale, but I probably wouldn't want to use anything that's small, a small scale on that, so. And then if I pull out to where we need to be, try not to pull down, that's going to be the issue. This next row should be the stopper there, so I don't know. We'll kind of start putting that together and see what happens, I guess. See if we need to redo any adjusting to it or whatnot. Because it should, if I put it through and do me a 2, do a 2 on that one and then go back to 3, that should give me the opening there. If I go 3, that might pull it too much because I didn't do 3 there. There's that one ring right there that goes 3 on that side, and this one goes to 3, and we just skip that middle ring altogether. So alright, yeah, we're just gonna go for it. see what happens. If we need to make any adjustments, we'll make that adjustment. So I think if I'm doing this correctly, we should be okay, but we'll just have to wait and see. Get a few into it and then see if it needs to be any adjustings. Because this one should be down with those, and that one should come up there. So the next one will go through 3. I had it the right way to begin with. So we'll flip those up, come through 3. Third one, come on. There we go. I should start pulling it back down together. So we'll just finish off this row, I guess, as that way. And that pulls those there, and then, yeah. We'll see what happens after it gets on the jar. Like I said, I might end up having to put on a few, just a quick, not ribbon, but I've got some old kite string that I can wrap around just to kind of pull it tight and give me a better idea. That might be what I will do next to see if I want to make any more adjustments to that before I start working into deciding on how I want to do the sides. Either weave it just full straight out or put in some linear scales on that side. I'll just have to kind of play, and might use the string to kind of help tie that down to give me a better idea of where everything should be once I get there. So we'll get this row done, probably one more, and then I'll make that decision on how I might want to do that part. Probably won't be tonight though. We'll probably just finish these 2 up and call it good for tonight, depending on where we're at on our time. Because we're just over an hour now, I think. Hour 10, so I mean, it's not going to take me 20 minutes to do that, but like I said, I want to at least go an hour on my streams. Hour and a half's good too, depending on how things are going. I just kind of like to stop in general, basically areas that I can remember more when I come back to it, because I don't want to stop in the middle of a line sometimes or something like that. That makes it more difficult when I come back. Depending on if I'm gonna, just shut the stream off and continue working. Sometimes it's a little easier not to have to worry about thinking that way if I come right back to it. And I've done that a few times. Where I shouldn't get done with the stream, but I'm still working. Sometimes I might take a break, because we got to feed and shoot the cat. Get the cat a shot, not shoot the cat. And don't get me wrong, I don't want anybody jumping on me for shooting the cat. I do say shoot the cat, but it's because I got to give the cat a shot. Oh, come on, put back there over there. Not being mean to the cats, trust me. I'm a big old baby when it comes to my animals. Wife will be the first one to totally agree with that. I'm big, giant softy when it comes to my kitties. Or any animals that we've had. We've gone through phases where we've had different animals at different times. Dogs, cats, hamsters, fish, all that. But we've always had cats, but we've kind of taken in the other cats around this area that were all all the cats we have now, none of them were feral to a degree, but they were more abandoned. They were inside cats that were thrown out, or the people moved and just left their cat. It's like, drives me nuts. That's where most of our animals have come from lately, is just taking in other people's that they gave up on. It drives me nuts. It's like, animals aren't a part-time thing. They're a lifetime animal. They are. My killer and Tiny cats that we had. Tiny, she was younger when she went into surgery, and they couldn't help her during her surgery. She was only about 10, 11 years old. That kind of sucked. But then we had my daughter's cat when she got my oldest daughter, when she was 4, we got her a cat ET. We had her for 18 years. We've now got Sugar Baby. She's, when we figured it up, I think she's running on 17 years now. And Marble is 1 year younger. The youngest cat we actually have right now is 8 years old. We've just had him forever. But yeah, I'm a big wussy when it comes to the animals. I hate seeing my cats go after birds and stuff in themselves. Like I said, I didn't even want to kill the bumblebee today, so I didn't want to kill the snakes. I cannot stand snakes. I used to have bad dreams when I was a kid of snakes. Boy, drill head snakes that could drill through concrete and stuff. Their little heads would start spinning to get me. I do not like snakes at all, but I still can't kill them. It's like I hate you, but I don't want to kill you. Yeah, it might be different if I lived in an area like with poisonous snakes. I mean, I'm sure there are some in Missouri of poisonous style, but never seen any around here anyway. It's just always been the little gardener snakes. Used to play with them as a, well, I didn't play with them as a kid, but the other kids would play with them when we were kids. It's like, you guys playing with snakes? I'm gonna go play basketball. I'm gonna go back inside. You can play with those snakes all you want, but I don't want anything to do with it. I've always hated snakes. Don't want to hurt them. I just don't want to be around them. Used to have a friend, well, it was a friend of a friend where we go play D&D, and he had a giant python and this big old friggin' 6-foot fish tank thing. Oh, it drove me nuts having to go over there to play. It's like, went over there once and he had it out. Oh, he needed some outside time to roam. No. Again, I don't want him to die, but he would probably be better as a wallet. Just leave him in his cage, we're all good. You take him out, that's a different story. Yeah, I've had all kinds. I've had some ferrets through the years. I'm getting pretty old now, so I've had many animals. I do miss dogs in a way, but I love my kitty cats. I know a lot of people don't like cats, but you know, I do, so everybody's gonna have their own that they like more than other things. And that's all good too. Everybody's got their own preferences. What is so weird there? It just was not pulled straight. Just my brain again. Where are we at? Yeah. So we'll finish one more row here. Then we'll fit it on the bottle real quick and probably go ahead and call it quits for tonight. If I start getting into it too much more, we might have to. Plus, I need to almost actually stand real quick and stretch because I've been sitting so much lately. I'm ready to do some standing for a while. Well, I was standing earlier whenever I was working on this before the start of the stream, and the bumblebee was right there. I was standing, and when we were locked eyeballs, I swear I could see his eyes, and he was staring at me. We need to go this way. Get up under there. Well, it helped that I was been sitting so much doing all the DVD work. It was actually kind of nice when I got into the printing and burning process because it kept me more up and moving around. Because I mean, cutting of the covers kind of stunk because that was a good hours of standing right there doing it. Not much moving, but it would take about 2.5 to 3 minutes for each CD, DVD to be printed through the printer. And so there was a constant moving around to put that in. And then when I went to the burning, I ended up with 3 burners going at once. Started with 2, and at the end I added a third in from the laptop. But it worked out to be about every 3.5 to 4 minutes. A DVD was popping out of one drive and reload it, get it put in the case, and then once that was done, it was about 3 minutes, maybe 2.5 to 3 minutes before the next drive would pop out its disc and have to replace it. And at least when I had the 3 going, it was more, probably had a 4-ish to 5 minute break, because each disc took about 8 to 10 minutes to burn up. And then with the multiple burners going, I tried to stagger their starts so that keep me a little busy. And then there was some times I was trying to get some other things caught up. I've been so busy, I kind of let the laundry get behind and let the dishes get behind. So I've had a little timer going. It's like, all right, I've got 4.5 minutes. I'd run over there, fold some clothes, and my little beeper would go off. Okay, time to go back and change over disc. I actually did pretty good. Most time I got back in with about 30 seconds before the changeover needed to happen. I think there was one disc that actually probably sat for about a minute before I got the changeover. I know it was less than 3.5 to 4 minutes because the other disc hadn't popped out yet. That took, I had to wait an extra minute or two after that one, though, to try to get back into the synchronicity of that. But like I said, they all finally got done. It was kind of, there are days when I'm doing those DVDs that I'm like, why am I doing this? I'm crazy. But when it's all said and done, all those hours disappear. All the times that it drove me nuts. I had all kinds of software issues this year with the programs not wanting to run properly, and like they should. There was a transition effect that I use 90% of the time. It's normally a quick, easy. I make a cut here, cut 2 seconds before, put those on their own timeline, put them together, and it would do it automatically. And for some reason, the software this year it would crash the program every time I tried to do that. I'm like, this is how I've always done this. Why are you doing this? And so that took some getting used to, and I could not find a fix on that for the life of me. I even uninstalled and reinstalled the older program, and it was still doing it. I think it might be more of a system thing in itself. But my computer probably does need to be rebooted and redone. I normally do every 9-ish months or so to a year. I'll totally wipe the hard drive and start over fresh. Just keeps my system fresher, keeps more bugs out. It can take 3 or 4 days to fully get the system back up, doing that, but gives me a lot less problems overall. And I'm pushing, I did it last year in February, so I'm over a year, so it's about past due. And some things like that, when I get those weird issues, they'll disappear once I redo the system. There's just some conflict going on somewhere between, a DIL or something, and sometimes I can figure them out and get around them. Other times it just won't start working right till I do a total system reboot. But, I keep everything that's on my main hard drives is just basically the operating systems and stuff. Any things that I save when it comes to video or graphics or anything like that, they all get saved to an external hard drive too. So I don't have to, if I do a reboot, there's really nothing I have to back up and save. My biggest thing is going through and just making sure I write down all my programs that I'm currently using so I can reinstall the programs. But all my graphics and stuff, I don't have to worry about any of that. They get automatically saved into the extra hard drives, and then they have their daily backups. So if something was to happen, but I probably need to get that going here soon. I probably need to read. What did I do to that read? Probably should have done that before. I normally try to do that in February or so. December to February before I start getting into the bulk of DVD work. Just because everything's all fresh, it works better. I didn't do it this year because I was busy, so part of that is to blame on myself that I didn't put that into effect and do what I needed to do what I'm used to doing, but you know, it was chainmail related that kept me away from it, which was perfectly fine, so I'm all good with it. It's like, chainmail is the business, so it comes first. The volunteering to help out the band, I thoroughly enjoy, but you know, if something else comes up there, I do miss a couple events a year because of doing chainmail events. If I have to miss it, I'll miss the band event because this is the livelihood. So it comes first. Well, the family obviously comes first, but then the business. So I had to get a drink real quick. Let's go ahead and throw this on here. Try to get a pull on this decent enough. It's not bad. It's a little smaller than I was expecting. I might have to come through and pull out one of every one so I can enlong that so I can see it a little bit better. Because if I pull it up, I might need to actually go down one on that too. And my center bottom come apart one more. Wouldn't really know until I get it fully back on here, so that's what I needed to see. If I do a full top stretch that way, I'm fine. If I do a full pull this way, it's still a little bit shy, so I probably should have gone one more. So that's what I'll work on adjusting that, and then probably are going to have to put in another contraction on the back. It's going to be a little odd having this concave part on the back here. Again, it's a different style jar that I've done. Almost looks like a shirt in a way. Should put little arms on it or something. Some chainmail arms coming off. Some chainmail feet. Make some shoes or something for it. It'll be my little jar that walks around. But we're going to go ahead and close out the stream for tonight. We're running almost an hour and a half as is, so it worked out pretty good. So I just again want to thank everybody that stopped in and watched us live tonight. If you're still here, I think I have a few viewers. So thanks for stopping in and seeing what we're doing. If you're watching us later, thanks for dropping in and watching the video later. Click those likes and shares and subscribe to them so you get notifications when we do go live. But otherwise, we're going to go ahead and call it done for tonight. We will be back on Monday for sure. We'll be working on jelly cubes on Monday night. And I got maybe 2 more weeks on doing jelly cubes. I know I want to, I might pull it out from occasion to occasion because the ones I'm working out at 5x5, those are where I'm going to kind of stop and put those for sale. But then I'm going to go with one that I'm just going to keep growing and growing and growing until I feel like stopping. Who knows? I could pull it out 10 years from now and still be adding to it. And I'll be 60 then, but who knows? Who knows how long I'll be doing chainmail. I'll do chainmail as long as I can. So you all have a great weekend, and we will chat with you on Monday. If I can get the mouse to work. There we go. All right, you all have a good weekend.